Hello everyone, Johnny Hurricane here from GamersHeroes.com, and why don't you sit back, relax, and let me tell you what's to come in Elden Ring. Let's get started. Alright, so we got invited to the closed beta preview, whatever, we got invited to a little event where other journalists and other players got to play. And first thing I will say that if you were like, Dark Souls are too hard, this game is easy. It's too easy. It's too easy to the point I am confident it's going to be nerfed. So what makes Elden Ring so easy? First and foremost, you can summon little NPCs. You saw my wolves, you can see them on the left there. But it's magic, really, that makes this game this strong. This guy's not even going to get a shot on me. None of these guys in this camp have a prayer against me. In fact, I've decided in most instances like this, I stack up 8 or 9 guys, which is generally a death sentence in any Souls game unless, you're actually really good. But, as you see right there, I just did 204 damage. Let's go ahead and go back to the normal sort. Well, let's kill these guys first. See how far that goes? And here they come. See? That's what I'm saying. This is too powerful. These guys are going to get shredded. Now, there are drawbacks to magic, obviously. I don't seem to be losing mana. I'm guessing that's a glitch. I don't know. Maybe I have something that prevents me from losing mana. But, see, I just clear out this camp. I barely even got to move. All I do is just keep using my magic. Now, if you go back to the swords... Now this is a boss, but you can see I'm doing like 40s. This is dex based with scimitars, so it's not like I'm strength based, but I'm still not doing nearly as much damage. Let's go ahead and switch to magic against the same guy, and let's see what I do. Remember I was doing like 46, I think, with my scimitar. 200 and... was that 260? Yes it was. No, 206. Either way, what was he doing? 46? Let's go ahead and round that up to 50, and so I'm doing 4 times the amount of damage against this. This is a world boss that I would have been doing with my scimitars. Now, it does take a little bit longer to charge up, and of course it has a range, but if I also wanted to, I could get on the back of my horse and just run around and use this, and I actually ended up staggering this guy. So, what I'm getting at is that if you think, oh, look at all this magic, it's going to make it way easy on the game, I promise you, this is going to be nerfed. This is too easy. They want to make it easier, don't get me wrong, but this is way too easy. Alright, so we all know magic is overpowered and melee is a little underpowered maybe. They need to balance that a bit, whatever. They'll do that. What about the rest of the game? How do I feel about the rest of the game? I actually think that this is going to be sort of their... I don't want to... Oh man, I really don't want to use the term their Breath of the Wild, but that's what I feel like. You even get the point, if you think back to the original Zelda Breath of the Wild trailers, you get that scene where it's like, oh, look at the big open world, and then when you play Breath of the Wild, you run out of the cave, and what happens? This exact thing. It's not just this game that does this. That was a very powerful moment in Breath of the Wild. That is why it's often used in open world games. I got a deja vu when I got out of the cave and ended up getting here. So the open world itself, I had fun exploring, which is, for me, the biggest thing. If I'm going into these kind of nooks and crannies, risking my life, I'm going to either find an item or a new enemy or a new boss, and I think they removed some stuff from the game. I'm actually very confident they removed some stuff from the game. This was probably primarily to test the weapons and magic, which worked out great. But you feel like you're moving through a dead and dying world, which you want in a Dark Souls game, right? Like every Souls game you go into, there's something going wrong with the world, and this one is just way more open, and of course you get a horse. So with that, there's of course a lot more secrets, so you can expect Vadi to be finding a ton of those. And here you can see me using my magic. I was testing it. You can literally just use it on horseback, which is cool. Super cool, by the way. I just think it's too strong. I really like... Mounted combat's always been one of those things in games that's kind of Like when I think back to a true cavalry game, I guess I don't really think of any. Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2, perhaps, but... that was a little different. Anyways, it works in this game, but it does have the same type of problems you would expect when you're doing mounted combat. Zelda, again, I'm sorry to keep bringing up Zelda, but you know, Epona and your horse all the time. The horses, their pathing is a little sketchy. The enemy's horses might go a little funky, but it works. Once you get used to it, it's actually very powerful. When you can use it. You can't use it everywhere. You can use it in an open world, and you can use it in parts of caves, but not all caves. It does help you get around, and it does help you in combat. So we're going to talk about a little bit now where the hard comes in. I'd say the open world part, pretty easy. There's still stuff that's going to kill you. You're going to run into this guy, and he's pretty freaking strong. But when you go into these sort of mini dungeons, or even the proper dungeon, which there was only one of in this event, they get harder. Like, true Souls hard. Now, my magic was still super powerful. Again, there's nothing you can really do about that because it needs to be nerfed. See what my club's doing compared to my mace, or compared to my magic? Terrible. But when you're in these deep, dark dungeons, you can't summon NPC allies. Like, you can't use your item to summon the wolves or summon the mage. You can still summon, of course, friends, which I didn't run into any instances of not being able to do that, so you can go through the entire, honestly, I think the entire game with an ally. I don't think there's any restrictions on co-op partners. I don't know, I didn't try it. But in these little dungeons, these mini dungeons that lead to a boss and then generally some sort of gear or item or magic spell, it's more akin to the traditional Souls experience. It's got traps, it's got ambushes, they expect you to die. And then, of course, each of them has a boss, and once you beat the boss, you get some sort of gear or some sort of skill. Weapon skills and magic are a little different. They use the same thing. They both use MP, or FP it is in this game, but the weapon skills obviously go on your weapons, and you can use those. My melee guy, I had a sort of like an air blast, but I've seen other ones as well. And these are also kind of cheese, like they're pretty strong when they actually hit. Of course, I got blasted by the boss there, but they're not nearly as strong as the magic. So I do think the game is ultimately going to be easier for just the casual audience that wants to play it, and I think that's important. I prefer difficulty, but I also like accessibility. I don't see a reason to deny players to play these types of games if they like them. They're still savage, right? You get yourself hit 3 or 4 times, it's still going to hurt. The world itself also feels alive. There's a lot of moving pieces and enemies and things like that. Again, another important part. So on combat, I like I said, I think it needs a little bit more balance. The world, perfectly fine. The lore and story, it's Dark Souls, you know. There's something Elden Ring broke, and now these guys have gone crazy or something of that nature. I don't know. There's a lot of bad guys in front of me, and I'm going to kill them. That's the extent of the story that I need to know. I went into this very confident. I'm very confident in that team, and I left as confident. Unfortunately, I left being like, well, about day 2, I was like, I shouldn't have done this because now I want to play it, and now I have to wait until February, assuming it doesn't get pushed again, because here's the thing. February is in Q1, but so is March, and they don't want to push out of Q1, but they could easily push this to March. So from what I played, thumbs up from me. Expect magic to be nerfed. Like, if you saw the videos and like, dang, magic's going to be OP, that's going to be my build. I'm not saying it's not going to be OP still. I'm just saying don't expect it to be dropping bosses in 2 or 3 hits. So for me, this is quite frankly the most accessible of the Souls series, and this would probably be the one, if you've given up on the Souls series before because it's been a little too hard, this one will probably be the one that if you can get through it, you'll either enjoy or not enjoy. You'll know by the end of it, I feel like, if you actually like the series or not. And tech-wise, yeah, the graphics are a little... Me and my cousin are currently playing through Demon Souls, and so to go from Demon Souls to this, like, yes, Demon Souls looks better, but mechanics-wise, it's much rougher. And tech-wise, I had one crash within, I think I played about 12 hours total, so it's not too bad, for a beta especially. And then I did have one major glitch when I was trying to go into the castle. I fell right through the floor. But even with all of that, I am very excited for this game. I'm sure I'm not alone. And again, if you've kind of given up on the series, maybe give this a look. I'm not saying... See, here's where I fall. There's definitely supposed to be a hallway there because you go through there to go into the castle. So, yeah. Anyways, if it looks interesting to you, give it a shot. If not, I don't think this series is going to be for you. If you liked what you saw, got what you needed, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later, Gators.